Alright, what's going on guys? Gino Jacob back here for another video today, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 5 mistakes as a teen bodybuilder. Now I know that a lot of you who are watching my videos are actually teenagers, and to give you guys some context about me, I've been lifting since the age of 15 years old. So I'm now 22, so that marks my 7th year in the gym. Now trust me when I say that I've made a lot of unnecessary mistakes in the beginning when I started lifting that actually made my journey a lot harder than it potentially needed to be. Now I'll actually put some pictures on the screen right now so that you can see how my transformation kind of went. Now as you can see here, I started off pretty overweight. I weighed, let me see, around 95 kilograms and I was around like 165 centimeters, so I was pretty short and fat, and in about 6 months time I lost around 25 kilograms. Now I didn't do this in a very healthy manner, if you will. I pretty much crash dieted, and after that, when I was very lean, I didn't really approach my training and nutrition in a way that would have made my progress a lot better, faster and easier. Looking back on these mistakes, I know that a lot of you potentially make these same mistakes as well, since I hear a lot of people in my gym, you know, teenagers or people online, some of you guys who comment on my videos, asking a lot of questions about topics that I have made pretty much the exact same mistakes in. So I figured it'd be nice to sit down, have a little chat with you guys and go over my top 5 mistakes so that you guys don't have to make or keep making the same mistakes that I've made in the beginning. So my number 1 mistake was definitely not focusing on compound movements. Now especially when you're a teenager and you join a gym, you will often hear people saying, do not do heavy compound exercises because they will stunt your growth and you will stop growing. Now this is partially true and false at the same time, because it all depends on context. Like, it wouldn't be a smart idea to do very heavy compound exercises with bad form and going way too heavy for what you can actually handle. And on the other hand, it has been shown that doing compound exercises actually strengthens your ligaments, and especially in your teenage years can promote a lot of muscle growth. So when I started out, I didn't do any deadlifts, I didn't do any squats, partially because my gym at the time didn't even have a squat rack, so yeah, that sucked. I didn't do the bench press, I didn't do the overhead press, so I was pretty much just sticking to machines and some free weight movements. So definitely in the beginning I could have made a lot more progress if I just focused on these compound movements, because you can make so much progression with these exercises. So my tip for you guys would be to definitely perform compound exercises, as long as you're conscious about using proper form and actually do your research on how to perform all of these exercises, and perhaps even have a workout buddy or someone you're working out with film a set for you, and be very careful that you're using proper form. Alright, so number 2 is always wanting to be shredded. I have been a victim of this for so long, and especially when you look on social media, you always see people being super shredded. And of course I understand that you might want to have that exact look, but again, that all depends on context. What you don't see is these people bulking for years on end, actually investing in their physique in terms of muscle growth, and then shredding down and posting the highlights of their physique. Because at the end of the day, if you always focus on cutting body fat and being in a caloric deficit, especially in those teenage years when you have so much potential for muscle growth, you're actually wasting time. Now again, this also comes down to context, because if you're overweight, it wouldn't be a smart idea to go on a bulk. Not only because nutrient sensitivity will not be in your favor when it comes to eating at a caloric surplus and eating enough protein, because it won't actually all go to the muscle recovery and growth, but also because you might not even be happy with the way you're looking right now. But then again, a lot of people who are actually lean might not be happy with their current look as well. But what you need to realize is that that certain look that you might be chasing, what you see on Instagram and YouTube or whatever, will be achieved by actually focusing on building muscle mass first and then shredding down. Now I'm not saying that you should go on perma bulks and eat every single calorie and every single food item in sight, because then you will get fat. You need to understand that building muscle takes time, and by just shredding down, not investing in your physique with a caloric surplus, aka a bulk, in order to build that muscle mass, you will just be a smaller version of how you're currently looking, or a more lean version. And again, it all depends on what you want, but if you have a certain image in your mind, which like 99.9% of every single lifter, especially in their teenage years, have, you need to invest in your physique. So focus more on building muscle mass, especially in your teenage years, and then shred down and chase that certain physique that you want. I remember when I first started my actual bulk, I was pretty scared, especially coming from a point of being overweight. I was so scared to actually start eating more again and seeing the weight on the scale go up. But you have to understand that this is an important factor in actually building your physique, right? I was so happy when I saw my muscles growing and actually getting a reward for all the hard work that I was doing inside the gym. Because you have to understand, your muscles need energy and protein to grow. So if you're always in a caloric deficit, that will not happen. Like, you will make some newbie gains, but that's pretty much it. Eventually you have to make that first step into a bulk. Just eat around 200 or 300 calories above your caloric maintenance and you will gain weight, but it will primarily be muscle mass and minimal fat, since you don't need to eat like 1000 calories above your maintenance in order to grow, because then, like I said, you will gain a lot of body fat. Alright, so the third mistake is not tracking my workouts. Now, what you'll hear in the gym oftentimes is just train hard, eat well, and you will grow. In the beginning, that might work, but eventually you need to know exactly what you're doing in order to see that progress. One of the most important factors to gaining muscle and making progress in the gym is progressive overload. So you need to track your workouts, write them down on a notepad or use your phone or whatever, and simply track the weights that you're using, the amount of sets that you're performing, the amount of reps that you're doing, and then try to progress on that exercise the next workout. Now, say for example you're benching 60 kilograms or 135 pounds for 5 sets of 5 reps. In order to make progress and see growth, you need to then up the weight or up the reps or add an extra set. Now obviously adding an extra set would be hard since you're already doing 5 sets, but you need to provide your muscles with a bigger stimulus in order to grow. So try doing it for 6 reps the next workout, and then eventually 7, and then up the weight once you reach a certain rep range. Now again, as I said, I primarily focused on machines when I started out, and even when I did focus on the compound exercises in the beginning, I did not track my workouts. I was simply putting some weights on there, repping it out, and seeing no progress at all, or virtually no progress at all. So once I started actually using my phone to track my workouts, I saw so much progress, and not only in muscle size but in strength as well. And they pretty much go hand in hand, since, like I said, you need to provide your muscles with a bigger stimulus to grow. Otherwise, they will have no reason to grow. So track your workouts and make progress on the exercises that you're performing. Alright, number 4 is over stressing my food intake. Again, especially when I was overweight and wanted to lose fat and lose weight in general, I was so stressed out about certain food types, the amount of food that I was eating. Now don't get me wrong, it's very important to keep track of your calories and your macros, but it shouldn't come to a point that you're obsessing over what you're eating and how much you're eating. Now, to be honest, this also depends on where you're coming from, since if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, by all means, please track your calories and your macros, but understand that it all comes down to energy balance, right? To lose fat, you need to be in a caloric deficit, and to gain muscle mass, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So it's not the individual food sources that dictate the progress that you're making and the results that you will see. It's all about the energy balance. So just be sure that if you want to gain muscle mass, you're eating in a caloric surplus and you're eating around 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein. And if you want to lose fat, just ensure that you're in a caloric deficit, so underneath your caloric maintenance, which is the amount of calories you need in order to maintain your exact body weight. Eat around 500 calories below your maintenance and focus on eating 1 gram per pound of body weight, and make sure that the carbs and fats fall into place. Now, I personally remember a time where I wanted to lose fat and I was looking at a bag of potato chips and just standing there for a couple of minutes, actually hesitating to grab a bite, when in reality I could have just made sure that that specific food item that I wanted to eat fit into my macronutrient and caloric goals, which would have given me the same exact results as long as I hit my total numbers for the day. So my macronutrient requirements and my caloric requirements. And the 5th mistake that I made when it came to training is going into the gym without a plan. When I started out, I did the all famous bro split. Now, again, I pretty much preach the fact that if a bro split is something that you prefer and keeps you in the gym consistently, then by all means just do a bro split. But there are more effective training routines that you can apply that will ensure that you're making more progress at the end of the day. A more effective training routine would, for example, be a push-pull leg split or a upper-lower split. Or heck, if you want to train 2 or 3 times per week, a full body split. When it comes to training your muscles as a natural, you need to focus on frequent stimulus. In other words, you should focus on training frequency. The process where your muscles recover and grow after your workout is called the muscle protein synthesis process. Now this process lasts for about 48 to 72 hours, and that is the time period where your muscles are sensitive to the amount of energy or calories and protein you take in. So in order to take advantage of that process on a pretty much constant basis, you need to train your muscles around 2 to 3 times per week. Now again, you can do this in many types of routines as I've covered, but since you also need adequate volume per muscle group, which is generally around 20 total sets per muscle group per week, so in total for the week, some good training routines to follow would be a push-pull leg split, an upper lower split, or a full body split. So again, these 5 mistakes are pretty much the biggest mistakes that I've made when I started going to the gym as a teenager, and I really hope that this gave you guys some context on the exact things that you shouldn't be doing in order to make more effective progress in the gym. Alright, and that is all for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you thought these tips were informative and helpful, then please let me know in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to smash the like button because it really helps out the channel grow. Comment down below and subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out. See you in the next one.